World was different than anyone else's. Not because she was a glass half empty kind of person, but because she suffered from a physical condition that crippled her, leaving her literally bent over and barely able to walk. Luke tells the story in Luke chapter 13. Jesus is teaching in a Judean synagogue one Sabbath when he and his audience catch a glimpse of a woman who was literally bent over as she walked. Luke said that she had been crippled by an evil spirit and had been this way for 18 years. Think about that. For almost 2 decades, she's been deformed, unable to stand up straight. Every step she takes causes her pain. Imagine living your life with a condition where the only thing you see is the ground below you for almost 20 years. While he is teaching, Jesus sees the woman, calls her over, and says, "Dear woman, you're healed of your sickness." Then he touched her, and instantly she could stand up straight. When she realized that she had been healed, she started praising God, and everyone around her was amazed. But the leader who was in charge of the synagogue interrupted the celebration. He was angry that Jesus had healed on the Sabbath day. The Sabbath was meant to be a day of rest, but it was hard for Jesus to find days to rest. The demand for his time and his teaching was constant. The synagogue leader complained that the Sabbath is not a day to come for healing. You can come any other day to be healed, but not on the Sabbath. But Jesus didn't like this response. He replied, "You hypocrites, each of you works on the Sabbath day. Don't you untie your ox or donkey from its stall on the Sabbath and lead it out for water? This dear woman, a daughter of Abraham, has been held in bondage by Satan for 18 years. Isn't it right that she be released even on the Sabbath?" See, she was wounded, but she wasn't defective. Jesus healed her of her disease and freed her from the bondage of her pain, but he didn't stop there. He went beyond her physical healing and showed her and the crowd that she was priceless. He called her daughter. Did you catch that? It's easy to overlook. Here it is again. This dear woman, a daughter of Abraham. In the days of Jesus and the culture of Jesus, women were not highly regarded. It was a very misogynistic society, and so not only was she a woman, but being that she had such a noticeable deformity, being misshapen by a demon would have made her untouchable. People would look at her, but never touch her. She was likely a social outcast. The fact that Jesus would call her daughter would have meant the world to this woman, and it would have sent a strong message to the Lord's audience as well. That word daughter was a term of affection. So when he called her daughter, he was telling her, you are valuable. You're not a second-class citizen. You're not some freak that everyone stares at. You are wonderfully made by God himself. And so are you. So whatever hand life has dealt you, if you're hearing these words today, know that you are priceless. Max Lucado wrote, "If God had a refrigerator, your picture would be on it. If he had a wallet, your photo would be in it. He sends you flowers every spring and a sunrise every morning. Face it, friend, he's crazy about you. Just because you're too wounded to walk doesn't mean you're defective, and it certainly doesn't mean you can't be healed."